Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about the incline bench. Of course, this video will be up in a few weeks. This is just kind of show my top set from today that I did, because I'm trying to build this up to 3 sets of 10. So I managed to get 9 reps today, all paused with this. But I thought I would make a video discussing the incline bench because this is one of the lifts I've been pushing a lot lately for myself. It's one of the lifts that I find gives the best carryover to my bench press. And quite frankly, it's an exercise a lot of people really should be doing. And I don't want to say it's underrated because it really isn't. You start talking in different circles and you actually find among most relatively serious lifters, irrespective of the discipline in which they lift in, whether it's raw powerlifting or bodybuilding, or anything else really, the incline bench is actually relatively popular. People don't always perform it well, meaning there's a whole lot of bouncing. Sometimes they're not touching the chest, things like that, right? A lot of misuse of the incline. But the incline is generally well received in serious lifting circles, but I think for a lot of people who maybe aren't that serious yet, they'll overlook it. And I do see in certain circles it gets overlooked. And so I just kind of want to highlight what this lift brings to the table. Now, you'll see bodybuilders praise it a lot. Even a lot of bodybuilders who don't like flat barbell bench will still praise the incline barbell bench, right? Because they're like, it just builds my upper chest. Like they're like, I feel my upper chest in a way that I don't get on really any other lift. And I would say that that's true for me too, right? Even though my goals are not bodybuilding per se, it's not really my thing. I just want to be strong, and I like being jacked, okay? And I want to be in good physical condition as I continue to get older. But for me, strength is always first. But I'll be the first to admit the same thing. It's a tremendous upper chest builder. Now, does that mean that the upper chest is the only thing that it works? No. The flat bench works your upper chest, right? Just maybe not as well as the incline. Incline works the lower chest, just maybe not as well as the flat bench. Now, that being said, I think a lot of people can kind of see where this would go. They're like, well, a person could do both and they do pretty well. I agree. I happen to agree. I think that they pair well together. For people who are just chasing a bigger, thicker chest, right? Because this really does add a lot. Really adds a lot to your upper chest. And what I also really like about it is the deep stretch that it gives. Okay, you are simply capable of getting a stretch that is deeper into certain parts of the muscle of the chest that you can't get on some other movements. Again, it just takes you deeper than the barbell does, just at the angle that it does. And the stretch is just absolutely tremendous. Okay, so as an upper chest builder, this exercise is near the top of the list. I don't like to say things like best exercise, right? Because tension is tension, right? Most of us understand that. I don't think there's anything that tops it. I don't think that you will find another exercise that is capable of doing better. How's that sound for the upper chest? Shoulder development, front delts, it's way up there, right? I would say overhead pressing can rival it. Overhead pressing can't, front raises probably, but it's definitely a very serious shoulder builder. And I do feel that there's carryover to the lateral head of the delt, right? I do feel that there's carryover. It's not just interior. And I've seen lifters get their lateral delts bigger without doing much work for them. I've had clients who've done it. They're like, my delts have been growing fine off incline and rows. Okay? I'm not saying that's everyone. They certainly add to it. But let's come over and talk about strength. Just the brute strength that it builds and the carryover to your raw bench. Carryover to your raw bench. And I'm not saying it's a replacement for raw bench. So I hate it when people do that. They're like, well, I suck at bench and I hardly ever do it. And I do incline and I'm just as strong. So the carryover is not that good. Okay, but if you went and trained your bench for a few months, your bench would climb. The incline has serious carryover. where do most raw benchers miss on the bench press, right? Assuming you're not going real close. Let's say you're doing a true, like your serious raw bench that's very chest dominant. You got a nice wide grip. You don't have a crazy arch. A couple inches off the chest. Okay, a couple inches off the chest. It's the way the bar drifts. So a lot of times our sticking point right there, and that bar drifts, it will try to drift towards the face and then you fail. It drifts really early off the chest if you miss there. Okay? How do you stabilize that? The incline bench. It's been my experience that the incline bench and the way I'm doing it, meaning a full range of motion where you are touching the chest, pausing, it will help you really, really carry over through that sticking point. Okay? Really carries over, particularly on a max. When you start getting real heavy, if you fail, about one hand space off the chest, right? And you just stick there and then the bar tries to drift towards the face. You get stronger your incline, you'll be able to just shift through that smoother, right? You'll be able to shift through it smoother. The carryover is phenomenal. Then the other thing, as a legitimate strength exercise, people will stand around and argue about bench. Oh, leg, you can do so much leg drive, so much technique, you can arch your way. Okay? Right? It's only so much arch you can get out of an incline bench. You put it on a straight 45 degree like I'm doing. If you try to arch too much, it just slides you down the bench. Right? And then you start losing your arch. You can't really arch that much on it. And if you pause and come to a dead stop on your upper chest, you can't cheat it. And I think that was a topic I had with Jamie Lewis not that long ago in private. We were talking about this. He's like, okay, yeah, 405 bench is good and everything, but he goes, get a 405 incline. He's like, it's the discussion's over. Like if anyone who can incline 405 and they just straight up walk over an incline, touch their chest with 405 on an incline and just press it, you will impress everybody. Because it doesn't matter how elite of a lifter it is, it doesn't matter if they're a power lifter, a bodybuilder, because it doesn't matter. That's it, the conversation's over. Like everyone knows you're a strong dude. It will impress anybody. You'll get a nod of respect. Because it's true, because you can't cheat through it the same way. Even if you try to arch, your arch has to be ridiculous to cheat through it. And then it just turns into a flat back. So, once you can touch your chest with something like a crazy number like 405 on the incline and press it, everybody knows that you are strong. On top of it, let's come over and talk about that from a development. Have you ever seen anybody in your life, any of you, anyone who can incline 405 who doesn't just look thick as hell? And even guys who are talking about that certain look, they want that aesthetic look. I don't like that word that much. You ever seen a guy who can incline 405 who doesn't have that? Anybody who's really, really strong at the incline tends to develop that look by default that people are talking about. It's a serious lift. It's a serious lift that you should train seriously. You'll benefit from it.